Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome along to the wilds of Suffolk. I'm out here yet again doing what I do, walking along in beautiful locations such as this, giving you my thoughts and opinions on things that are happening in the world and the public consciousness. If it's your first time here, welcome. This is what I do. I hope you enjoy it. If you're a returning subscriber, all 1,275 of you, I think there are today, welcome back. It's my pleasure and honour for you to join me for these walks and this, whatever you take from this craziness I present when I'm walking out here in the woods or along the beach or somewhere beautiful. So thank you one and all for being here. Really, I do appreciate it. I can't thank you enough. So as we see the world appearing to self-destruct right in front of us, I can't help but look at the people that are doing this, the puppets that are doing this. Let's put it that way. You know, we have world leaders, they call themselves, world leaders that are pushing for the most insane, backward thinking, warmongering that I've ever seen before. I mean, we're living in such crazy times where rather than being able to try and find a diplomatic solution to a genuine problem that they've created themselves, they would rather look towards using weapons of war. So today's talk, we're going to be discussing leadership and effective leadership, and if we even have leadership, and are these people really leaders, or are they puppets on a string that are part of a massive mechanism of social influence to control the way that we think and the way that we interact with each other? So, little topic today. But I thought, you know, this, with the time that we're living in, you know, and these crazy events, and it's getting crazier by the day. And, you know, months ago, I mean, if you've been with me for any period of this journey, you know that this is the kind of stuff I've been talking about for months and months and months, where I said things are going to get insane. You know, we're a long way from the end of this. Oh, there we are. We're a long way from the end of this, whatever this is going to bring us. But, you know, as events keep on playing out, I keep on questioning the people that are doing this, the leaders. Now, I should give you a little bit of background. You know, if you've been here for any of this, you'll know a bit about me. You know, I'm no one in the whole scheme of things. I'm just a guy who walks along in the forest and gives you my thoughts and opinions. You know, I look at information from a wide variety of sources. You know, sort of really broad spectrum kind of stuff, financial papers. You know, I listen to lots of podcasts. Crypto, conspiracy stuff, everything. I ingest a broad base of information, and then I process that and I come out here and talk about it. So I'm sort of talking it through with myself and putting it out into the world, my thoughts and opinions. Now, we all have the way we interpret the world. There's a great talk, I think I posted it from Josh over at Red Pill Project, did a great talk about the nature of reality just recently. It was excellent. So if I haven't posted it, I'll post it over on Telegram. Great talk, Josh. Really, really good. And he talks about the nature of reality and how reality is experienced through our lens of our experience. Okay? So you could have 10 people looking at one event and taking something completely different from it, because your life experience is given you a lens to look through, is how you experience the world. Okay? So we're all interpreting what's going on in our own way, but you know, a lot of people, me included, still don't understand this, because it is meant to be confusing. You know, there's so many things happening at once, it's supposed to throw you off. Now, when it comes to my life experience, which is why I went off on this track, when it comes to my life experience, I've been a chef for 35 years now, okay? I started out as, you know, the shit kicker in the kitchen. I was doing all the lowly jobs, taking the beard off the muscles and sweeping the floors, and I still do that, by the way. But, you know, you had to work your way through and learn every aspect of the trade and you know, come to a point in your career where you have the knowledge, skill set, you know, and the yearning to be something more in the career. So in order to move through into higher positions in kitchens, you have to have a knowledge base and a skill set. So over that 35 years, I've done everything from wash dishes to running multi-site businesses, restaurant businesses with, hundreds of staff. So I have an understanding through my life experience of what it takes to effectively lead people. Okay, that's what I'm good at, I think. You decide that. I mean, if you know me or if you've worked with me, to be an effective leader, you have to be able to stand there and be respected by the people that you are working with. They don't work for you, they work with you. So an effective leader understands that everyone around him isn't there as his servant. An effective leader is there and recognizes that everyone around him is an asset to achieve a goal, to move forward and achieve something. Now, our leaders now, we'll come back to that in a second. So from my experience, of working with different people in over the course of my 35 years in this trade and traveling the world, and it's there's been a lot more to my career than just standing in a kitchen and cooking some food. It's I've traveled the world, I've filmed, I've done lots of different things. An amazing experience I've had over 35 years in this trade, and that has gifted me the ability to do things that I never thought I could do, and also the understanding of what it takes, because of all those experiences, what it takes to be a good leader. Am I? Sometimes. Not all the time. Sometimes I'm a bastard. But, it is with everything that comes with leadership, there has to be some, I'm not going to try and make excuses for myself. I won't. But there's always going to be some negative with some positive. I think we have to accept that, no one's perfect. Those in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, but that said, we have to own those we have to take responsibility for our words and our actions in that leadership role. So sometimes you're going to fuck up and you have to say, I fucked up, I'm sorry. And let's deal with it effectively. So from my experience, in all my experiences across the time that I've been doing this, I've learned some valuable lessons about leadership and about effective leadership. For me, the first rule of leadership is lead by example, right? Lead by example. Now, I don't know where you live in the world. I live here in the UK. And I look at the people who are calling themselves leaders, our politicians, our leaders, okay? I've been living here for 23 years in October and November. So, quite a while. I was here when the MP's expenses scandal erupted, where MPs were claiming expenses for things that weren't expenses, like having their ponds on their estate cleaned. And, many other mistresses paying for their mistresses, places that they live, that kind of thing. These are our leaders. So when we're looking at these people and they're investing offshore and they're, all the criminal activity that takes place in the Houses of Parliament. And, number 10, the intelligence services. It's criminal activity that takes place, but they're very careful to make sure it's not criminalized because they're all lawyers and they know how to work within the words of the law that they understand, but you don't. Okay? But they're criminals. So when the people of the country that they're living in, here in the UK, for instance, and they look at these people that are our leaders, we look to them for leadership, and what they see is criminal wrongdoing and no consequence. No consequence for their actions. Oh, well, we went to war in Iraq and Afghanistan. over a false premise, weapons of mass destruction, of course. Years later, that comes out that was all garbage, and there's no consequence. So when the people of the country that these people are leaders of, commit these crimes, that it ends in people's lives ending. We're starting wars where hundreds of thousands of people are killed and maimed, and it's for what? People look to those people for leadership, and all we're seeing is just criminal activity with no punishment. And we wonder why our crime rate is up. Leaders should lead responsibly, right? They're supposed to be lead by example. At work, I'm the first to pick up the mop or wash the benches or clean the dishes, because an effective leader wants to lead by example. Are our leaders leading by example? Or are they setting an example that they want the rest of the population to follow, and then there's no consequence for the politician, but the consequence is only for the people who follow their leadership? You've been set up to fail. Now, when these leaders of ours are stoking the rhetoric of war, beating the drums of war, we have to stay in this to the end, we have to support, to make sure that we keep on encouraging so that these pesky Russians don't get away with whatever they want to get away with. But we're not talking about what they're trying to do, which is actually ensuring that agreement that was signed in the 90s where NATO said they wouldn't move 1 inch closer to Russia. But no, we have to stoke the rhetoric. Uncle Joe, Sleepy Joe, Poopy Pants Joe, that one, let's go Brandon. He's saying we're on the verge of nuclear apocalypse. Of course, then the White House staff had to walk it back, like everything that comes out of that clown's mouth. But they're stoking the flames. We're living at the whim of psychopaths. Oh no, we're going to start a war. Who fights the war? Are you going to be, as a leader, stepping up to fight that war? Or are you going to send some poor schmuck who didn't have a chance at life because he wasn't very good at school? And he went, I want to do something. He's physically fit. He feels good about it. He wants to do something positive in his life. He goes to join the military, because it can help straighten him up, get him on target, give him some skills for life. But instead he goes and joins the military, and some lunatic goes, okay, I don't like that guy over there. We're going to go and throw these boys at it. And the average person, ends up fighting for these criminals who are starting wars or stoking the fires of war that we have to go and fight. That's not leadership. If you're not going to be on the front line, then you're not a leader. Much like there's a lot of the officers in the military that have never been to the front line of a war. Surely people who are standing there and saying we need to go to war should have experienced it firsthand. And then would they be so keen to send others into that? Of course they wouldn't. Would they send their own children? Of course they wouldn't. Leaders are supposed to demonstrate a knowledge of what they're leading in. What knowledge do these politicians bring to the table? They're lawyers. Their knowledge of words. They know how to cast spells using words. It's word magic. So, do they bring in an expertise in the economy? Well, they claim to. They claim to, but do they? I mean, how's the economy looking? I mean, I don't know what country you're in, but from everything I see, and that's a a pretty broad spectrum. Oh, here we go. Pretty broad spectrum of information. From what I see, no country's doing great. So, how is it that in this chaos that we're living in, that all the countries are doing badly? And it's all hyper divided over everything. Do you think it's an accident? Of course it's not. They get together and they have their G7 or their G20 summits where they all get together and they're clinking champagne glasses together. We're enemies with that country over there while they clink their champagne glass together. Clink! Woo! At meetings that they attend in this country where they don't have to wear masks, but the service staff do. You know, those kind of meetings. These criminals who are running the world are trying to get a bigger war going. Now you can think whatever you want about this whole thing that's happening in Ukraine, between Russia and Ukraine. You can think whatever you want about it. You know, think about this. Factor this into your thinking. The more weapons we send there, is that going to de-escalate, or is it going to escalate the war? What do you think? Sending more money and more weapons to a country, do you think it's going to increase the frequency of things getting bombed or decrease? They're pushing for war that we all pay for with our pocketbooks, with the money in our pocket, or our future tax revenues, which means more enslavement, by the way. They're trying to escalate this deliberately. They need war. Remember, oh gee, it must have been some time ago now, when I said they need a war. They have to have it in order to hide the malfeasance. The things that have been done need to be hidden. And now it's up to us. You know, am I a leader in this truth movement? Well, it's not for me to decide. I'm going to say my piece and I'm going to put it out there what I think. You know, I'm not trying to incite anything. I'm putting out information the way that I see it. You know, you have to decide the validity of what you see and what you believe, because nothing that I say or anybody says should be just flat out believed. You have to go and question things for yourself, which is what I'm doing. You know, I'm putting out what I think, and hopefully that can at least inspire somebody to go and look at information differently than what they're being presented. So I have to sort of take some kind of leadership role in this, whatever role that is, and try and, you know, at least get people to question it, to look at something alternative, to think about things in a different way. Because if we keep on this route, they mean for us to pay the penalty. And I'm not prepared to. You know, I'm talking about people in the military. Think about this, what's happening. They're sparking the flames and you're the one who has to go and put the fire out. With somebody on the other side that probably doesn't want to be there either. But it's not all doom and gloom, folks. This is what it's all about. Look at where I am. I'm out here today, weather report. I'm out here today. It's a little bit cooler, the air's a little bit cooler. We're going into autumn, but there's so much life still in the forest. Much like there's a lot of life left in us, and a lot of fight left in left in us. You know, that you have to understand that more and more people are questioning are looking at things and are just going, hold on a minute, that doesn't make any sense. You know, more people are sharing things that, you know, you couldn't share before because all your friends would have a go at you. More people are sharing that kind of stuff. More people are at least looking. They might not believe it, but at least they're looking. And the more, this is what this whole movement's about, is to get people to look at things and not just blindly accept what we're being told is our reality. Is it our reality, or are they making reality for us? The thing about the talk that Josh did that really stands out to me, you know, about the nature of reality, is that our input into it. And the secret of what's really happened to us all is that they've robbed us of our ability to be in charge of our own lives through manipulating our emotional state, through the influences in the media and the news reports and the Armageddon and, you know, all the news bits and everything that you see. They're influencing us for us to see the world that they want us to see. But it's not that way. Think about the enormity of what's going on in the media circles and the, you know, in the movies and the Hollywood and everywhere, and the resounding, it's noise, it's constant, it's fear there. Oh my God, it's a new virus. Oh, it's a plane crash, or, you know, an asteroid that we blew up, or whatever it is. Whatever they're touting to you, it's misdirection. And I saw this awesome preacher in one of these massive churches in the US, you know, these massive ones that they have in these auditoriums, just full of people. And this preacher's up on the stage and he's like, you know what the problem with y'all is? The problem is you're looking for God out there. God's in here, you know. And we have to remember that the thing that we're looking for out there, you know, in the world, in the projection of the reality that we see, that's not the reality. The reality is in you. And it's, you know, to be able to take that time to get to know who you are and why things affect you the way they do is a long process. And it's a never-ending process to understand yourself. So recognize that the reason that there's so much negativity and so much push toward this fear state that they want to keep us all in, the reason that's happening is because they're losing their grip. And more people are rejecting their version of reality. So they have to ramp it up. It's a constant ramping up of that fear, worry, panic, doubt. You know, it's all about keeping you in a fear state to control you, because then you don't create your own reality. They do. So, it's not all doom and gloom. In fact, it's just the opposite. The worse it gets, the closer you are to the whole thing breaking. And all you have to do, he says, it's easy to say, is try and keep calm and see it for what it is a projection to keep you in a state of fear so that they're controlling your reality, not you. So that's today's little talk, effective leadership. So be a leader in whatever way you can be. Get out there and share information that you think will help people. Get out there, share some memes. Memes are a great way to break through to people. They see things and it's like, didn't look at it that way before. And it's that subconscious seed planting, just like in Inception, where it's all about planting the seed. Because you can't convince anybody of anything. All you can do is plant a seed, and that seed then germinates in their mind, and then those people will go and look at something that they never seen before that might well change their opinion that they hold about something, like some crazy conspiracy theory. Maybe, who knows? But all we can do is just run around, share information, and be an effective leader by sharing things that you think are going to help. Use the platforms against them. the mind control, the media manipulation can all be broken through by people that are sharing stuff in a way that is impactful, effective. That's effective leadership. So go out there, do good, be good, and we can change the world with the way that we talk, the way that we think, the way that we interact, the way we share information and what we're sharing. Yeah, it's nice to share a picture of a cat. Thanks so much for joining me, one and all. It's been a privilege for me to have you along today. Thank you so much and the walk was awesome, wasn't it? Just beautiful through there. I can't keep away from the place. All right, look after yourself, look after each other. I look forward to seeing you real soon. Take care. Ciao for now.